Alright, so last Saturday we were putting out some slurry, trying to get some of the grazing ground done. We did get some slurry out a few weeks ago, and that was kind of in some of the leveler fields and fields that wasn't that wet. But now that we've had a few weeks of dry weather, we're able to get at the hilly ground and some of the wetter or lower lying land that might be a bit on the damp side. We're able to get that slurried now too. Great that the weather has worked with us. So that was okay. Plan was on Saturday we usually stop around 12:30, 1 o'clock for a cup of tea or some lunch, and the plan was that we would stall it out. The F1 qualifying, we're big F1 fans, so it was on around 3. So we said, okay, we'll try and finish up in the yard around 2:30, maybe 2:45, depending on what way we were coming in with a load or whatever, or finishing up a load, and we go down, have lunch a little bit later, watch the F1, come back up and finish off what we're doing. So that was the plan. So stopped the tractor here about after finishing the load, just after 2:30, about 20, maybe 25 to 3. Got out, I heard something moo in the background, passing remarks of it, you hear it all the time, and as I'm walking over, I thought I heard sounded like a lower pitched moo. So I was like, is that one of the Wainlands or what is that noise? So I'm still walking towards the Jeep, and I just thought to myself, okay, I wonder is there's ever a calf born? As though we're still a number of weeks out from calving, there can't be a calf born. There was a calf born. Weeks earlier than what we had expected. We stalled out our calving this year. We are usually bang in the middle of calving now at the moment, and the idea by stalling the calving out was that by having the calves a bit later, we would be able to get the cows and calves straight out and hopefully try to combat the crypto issue that we have had over the last number of years. So yeah, bulls out with cows a month later. We weren't expecting to have any calves until the end of the month, and here we were having a calf on the 3rd of the month. Bang, straight in the middle of when we always had cows calving. So, bit of a surprise. Calf was born, calf was fine, got him out on the straw, and he's doing well. It's actually, we never actually looked. I think it's a little half a calf. 99% sure it's a little half a calf. Maybe now check now it'll be a bull calf. Once everything was alright, we're not too bothered about the sex of it at this stage. But yeah, great to have the calf out and okay, and a nice little surprise. But the problem with these little surprises is sometimes, even though we had the shed all washed out, we have whitewashed the walls around here, we hadn't got it fully disinfected, so we had to disinfect the floor and the barriers in the shed. So that was done. You can see the knapsack was there, we just used that for that job. And we mixed up disinfectant at a fairly high rate and just sprayed around it, and it was remounted in to bed the pen. So we were, I suppose, able to get the cow in and to get her onto some straw fairly quickly. But a little job to do, the drink to put on here and to pipe it up, and that's just what we're going to do now today. We're going to throw a couple of pipes onto it and see if we can get some water onto it, because we don't want to continue having to have buckets of water here like this. Alright, so drinker is on the wall already. We got that on Saturday, but just we hadn't got time to pipe it up. So the drinker itself comes fully installed with the ball valve in it and all. So there's a little ball valve in there, and what we're doing is we'll just put a wee bit of white tape on it and see if we can get local layers on it to get our fitting on. Now of course there's just not enough room for the roll to fit in, but we'll get enough on to make it do. I suppose you've got somewhere around 10 or 12, 14 laps around it. It's always plenty, but it just depends on the fitting, I suppose. Now that should be sufficient. So we have a plastic fitting. We'll pop it on next. Just have to watch, there's a little O-ring that you do not want to lose on that, so just be careful while it's putting it on, not to let it fall.
just realized I've built walls a mile high to protect my heart, but now I'm all alone, stuck on the inside. The heart doesn't need a castle, it needs a bridge. Been too scared that I'd unravel. Brick by brick, I built these walls. Now I know that I am strong. Just watch me tear them down. I'm gonna tear them down. If it couldn't break your heart, is it really love? If it can't tear you apart, is it really love? Just watch me march towards the battle. I'm gonna tear down this castle. I'm gonna tear down this castle. I'm gonna tear down this castle. Watch me march. If it couldn't break your heart, is it really love? If it can't tear you apart, is it really love? If it couldn't break your heart, is it really love? If it can't tear you apart, is it really love? I criticized myself for trusting lies. I know I can't hide, 'cause then I'd be alone, stuck on the inside. The heart doesn't need a castle, it needs a bridge. Been too scared that I'd unravel.
Alright, so I hope that came out okay. I'll not know till later on, as I've just done a quick time lapse on it. Going to a few of the wee clips here, just going to knock in there in a second. But yeah, have it replaced now everywhere that was damaged. So it's just a matter of switch her on and see if we water or what is the story. See, is there any leaks? All okay so far. Seems to be grand. Yeah, there's water flowing in there now at the moment. Yeah, that seems to be grand. Just banging them other few clips there. Just a few extra clips on that there. It's a bit overkill, but it's just in case that they get in there and get scratching on it. I stuck another one in there as well, and the pipe's just cable tied to the gate. It's not ideal, but it's never really been caught, or there's never been any issue with it. There's a bale and twine on this side here. You can kind of slide it over. If we want to, we can open this gate here, and you can take a cow and calf in this way here, then in the back if one calves in that pen, which we've done lots of times in the past. So that's why there's no cable ties on that. It's just to have the twine on it, that it slides with it, because you see there's a little U here on the top of this gate that slides back into itself and puts an opening on it. So yeah, it's just that's why it's not cable tied at that point. But yeah, not too bad. We're filling out there now. Give it a second, just make sure it's not overflowing or there's no issues. Right, so we're just finishing off last little trickle of water getting into the drinker. The only thing I had to do was I went to clean it out. There was all bits of plastic and dirt in there, and there's a drain off on it that you can just screw off a cap on it and let all the water out. But the cap was on the other round. I forgot that you have to swap them around. So I screwed it off on this side, took it out, let all the water out of it, and then put it back on from underneath. So yeah, it's in the right way around now, and yeah, should be 100%. They're a good wee drinker. They're JFC that makes them, and I suppose this is the third one that I think we've in now. So they're in some of the stables around the yard. Good sized bowl in them, and yeah, just well made and easy enough to fit and easy to install. So yeah, pipe is nice and tidy in out of the way. Don't think now you see that the gate closed. It don't think anything will be getting in there unless something gets in with their tongue or something. It shouldn't be an issue. And yeah, the pipe was up there like that, but it wasn't an issue for the last 10 years, it going up like that. The only time it became an issue was when the timbers rotted out of it and they started to break and the whole thing slid down and it bent the pipe. So yeah, that is that. Yeah, so whitewashing is a good job. You can see, and there's a bit of a flicker there on my screen, so I'm not sure if you can see that, but the screen just doesn't seem to be doing it justice. It really does brighten everything up, and that's a good thing. So when you're in trying to look at calves or to see what's going on, or if you're a cow calving, it's nice and bright, a lot brighter than before, and yeah, that's only a plus. So yeah, that's 3 pens now we have ready, water on in them all, and it's just a matter of now line these 2 here and bed them, and we're ready to go whenever the cows are ready to go. So yeah, another job done and dusted. Alright, so moving away from the drinker, we are back chopping some beet. The beet chopper is back on the brown, or the brown is back on the beet chopper. Yeah, so yeah, spud quantities, stocks are getting low. Not that beet isn't that easily got either, but we have some beet, another number of loads bought in advance, and we're going to start feeding a little bit more beet than potatoes, and but still feed both, if you know what I mean. So yeah, chopper was used yesterday evening for the first time, and yeah, it's just a matter of getting a bit of stuff chopped out this evening first. So I'm going to give her a little bit of a preheat. I'll heat her for maybe 20-30 seconds and we'll see how she starts. It's cold this evening, it could be a slow one. Okay, she's been heated for about 30 seconds. Let's see how she goes. Come on, baby. She's alive! Alright, we get the chopper going. So, only chop a couple of buckets every evening, and yeah, just keeps it right. It means just having it done now means I'll not have to do it when I come back up when we're feeding. But yeah, chopper's working well enough, thankfully, which is what you want to see. Yeah, it dyes the brown a bit. Like, there is a bit of driving on it. Dyes the brown just a little bit when it starts to go through it, but no bother to the brown. So yeah, that is the chopper. Old but gold, we'll call it. Working well, and that's what you want to see. Alright, so we've moved on to another job today. Teleporter and the silage fork is on, and we're going to have to try and move some of these. It's just piles of like old bits of trees and bushes and stuff that was falling into the river that was starting to cause a bit of an issue, and it was cleared out like a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, we're going to have to try and move them out of here, move them out of the way. So you can see there's a wee stream that runs along here. There was different trees. You can see this was part of a tree here that had fell down into the river. It had actually fell onto the fence here and was causing an issue. And that had happened in 3 or 4 different places across the length of the field. So when the digger was here, it's about a week ago, we just got them all cleared out and put into piles. So yeah, we're going to have to try and clear them up. Obviously now there is no burning. We are after the 1st of the 1st of March. So yeah, no burning of the old bushes or bits of trees. So yeah, we're going to pile them up and we'll just let them rot away, and then maybe in the autumn we can burn them, or maybe they may just rot away. It's no real big deal with them. So yeah, we'll set up. I have the drone with me. I'm going to see if I can get a wee bit of drone footage just of lifting some of these, and yeah, we'll see how we get on. Alright, so I'm going to voice over this bit because I'm just twisting around now to come in to lift up this pile of bushes, and there's a couple of big logs in it, or bits of trees that I can't actually see now, but you'll get to see just what it'll do if it lifts it up the wrong way and the weight of it is against us. Here we are going in now to the pile. Now, as I lift it up, I see that it's just not going in under it properly. So I drive forward, and as I drive forward and go to let it down, see the way it flipped the front wheel off the ground on the far side? Just whatever way the log caught in the ground and pushed on as I was moving forward and letting the boom down, it just flipped it up. And it's very simple that you can put one of these machines over, especially when the boom is up or has a bit of height to it. So just not able to get under it properly there. I've tried a couple of times there, and sometimes it can just happen like that. I've tried to tumble it over in such a way that it'll just allow me to pick it up a bit better. I think I come in now at a bit of an angle there at that, just to push some of the sticks and twigs and stuff over into position. And now we're going to try again and see if we can get under. What I'm aiming to do is try to get under the most of it. Even there's a wee bit left behind, it's not the end of the world. I can come and pick that up and put it on the next pile. But I have a good enough grip of it now this time, thankfully, and we can head off for getting rid of it.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left.
Alright, so we're just coming in now with the last grape or fork load of bushes and sticks and trees and whatever all is in it, and we're just dumping it all. This is actually the big one with the big lump of a tree in it. Just dumping it all into this. It's like a whole... Hold on a second, I'll take the camera off and I'll show you. Alright, so the area here where we're dumping the trees and sticks and thrash that we took out of the stream, you kind of see it here. We're just up on the top side of it, but this just kind of give you an idea of the depth that was in it at one time. We've been putting stones in it and loads of till and filling it up. You can see it's almost level out there with the field now in a lot of places, but down the bottom end where we put the trees, there's still a couple of dips on it, but up here you can kind of see how much deeper that it was over the field, and it has, a lot of it had collapsed all in, but this is probably the most intact part of it that's left. Even from when we bought this field here, this was the most intact part of it. You can see somebody at some stage had built stone walls on each side of it, and it was a narrow laneway that led from the lane up here, which was a bigger lane, down into this narrower laneway, and followed right the whole way down here to where there was probably a house down somewhere at the bottom of this. So yeah, it's a lot of it is filled in, but yeah, it just gives you an idea of how much deeper it was. Somebody thought enough of it at one stage to build the stone walls at the side of it and to have a nice driveway down to or laneway down to the house. So yeah, it's quite narrow. It's only, I'd say it's maybe about 7 foot wide in around. It's not that wide, but be still wide enough if you had a nice quiet horse and cart. In a cart, it'd make its way down. But yeah, we're using it anyway to throw. As I said, we've been throwing loads of till and stones and stuff like that into it for years, and just levelling it out every now and again. But yeah, for now we've dumped these sticks and twigs in it and bushes, and yeah, we'll just leave them there to rot. And if any birds wants to build them this year, they can do. They're there for them. So anyway, that's it. That's really it for today's video, I suppose. I hope you enjoyed it. Bit of a mix of all different stuff that was going on over the last few days, and yeah, just give you an idea of just what's happening. Next video of the weekend, we are putting some of the soil back on the field we were doing the drainage job in, and I'll get some footage of that. I'll actually go over and take some footage of that now, and we'll have that up in the weekend video along with all else that's going on as well. So until then, hope you have a good week. We'll see you in the next one.